What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to be taking a look at this debate between former conservatives and former liberals. Now, obviously, I'm not going to watch a full 38-minute video. I mean, who's really going to watch a full video of me reacting to the full video? Probably not many people. But I'll probably get at least around 10 minutes in, and we'll see we'll kind of feel this out, see what we're feeling. Should be interesting. Former conservatives versus former liberals. So this is going to be interesting to see what this is all about. I'm not going to talk too much. I'm just going to hop right into it. God bless you guys. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Oh, I'm not going to participate in your delusion. You'll never meet a Republican that uses pronouns. It's just a fact. It's only the left.
Everybody uses pronouns. Just
Everyone
some people choose to.
Oh, right off the bat, I can already tell it's going to be a spicy one, folks. Already talked about pronouns. You know, whenever, like, pronouns and all that shit is brought into the mix, you know it gets freaking spicy.
Okay, well, my pronouns now for the rest of the time are pretty princess.
That's not a pronoun.
What do you mean?
Those are not even pronouns.
Okay, so what are your
That's
zizes,
grammatic.
them, zer, he, she?
My former political views were cult-like. Can the agreeers please step forward?
I was gonna say, I think both are just two separate cults, because which is so funny. And I think also sides have like ironically.
That's actually kind of true. Like people way to the far left and people way to the far right. Like I'm talking like way to the far. It actually kind of does seem like a cult at a certain point. Now, I'm not saying like if you're on the right, you're in a cult. If you're on the left, you're in a cult. But like I'm talking far, far left and far, far right. It does get pretty cult-like, and I've seen the extremes of both sides.
They kind of switched because as a Republican now, I'm like so anti-war. I'm anti-sending money to all these different countries that are not ours while people are sick from the water and children are starving. Anti-pharmaceutical, anti-big government.
I like her so far. Let's keep watching.
Anti all these things, and I'm like, that is original liberalism. So I'm like, I think I'm more like independent, but I register and I vote as far right as I possibly can and always will.
I think both sides are very tribal.
Yeah.
But in terms of cult, at this moment in time, I think the left is more cult-like. I was in it for 20 years, what's known today as the woke left, but we used to call it social justice left, progressive left.
Known by conservatives as woke.
Right, but here are some of the characteristics that I think make it more
Pretty sure they call themselves woke.
cult-like than perhaps the conservative side. One is that if you had questions, you had to check your privilege, or there was always some line that they would use to get you to stop asking questions, which is sort of cult-like. And then the other thing was there was this encouragement to separate from people who didn't agree with you. And so I slowly over time like whittled my world down to just people who were in the social justice left. And there was really, for people who left, which I did eventually, which was a long process, it's a bit like you become an apostate. You don't just leave or have different opinions. It's like once you leave, you can't come back.
That is a cult. It's like Scientology.
Well, I have perspective because I came from a really religious background, and there's a lot of shame around believing something other than what you're taught. Because of that, it makes you feel like you can't express any questions without being told that you're going to hell, you're going to be exiled from your family. And so when I started thinking a little bit outside of the lines of what I was always told, family members literally to this day will not speak to me, will not look at me in family gatherings where you're just supposed to be like, you're my family, aren't you supposed to love me endlessly? And in turn,
she's a former conservative, but even that's crazy as well. Like it should never really affect your family like that. That's when it gets cult-like, when it starts affecting family gatherings and stuff. When your family won't even talk to you because you have different political beliefs, that is cult-like in my opinion.
they've exiled me because I don't believe the things that they believe.
And I think that's horrible.
Yeah.
By the way,
Agreed,
I
yeah.
am ironically like pretty far known as far right in my community, and then ironically very leftist at times because you can't please everyone. But I have never cut off a person because of their political beliefs in my life, but everyone on the left did it to me.
I will say from my own experience, but coming from the opposite. So especially when the George Floyd incidents were happening, it was kind of, a consensus that you should be BLM rah, 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 all cops are bad. And just me questioning that within my own circles, it's like there's a lot of pushback and it feels a little awkward because I'm just, it's literally just asking questions. If I did have to, point a finger, I would point it at the left or the liberals for feeling attacked by words that are said on the other side. Because there's not a lot of, conservatives that are like, oh, you said there's more genders, I'm offended. I'm personally attacked by that.
That's literally only one side.
Yeah, it is.
Can the disagreeers please step forward?
I honestly think that both sides have very tribalistic tendencies at a time. As far as the question, were my beliefs personally cult-like? I don't think that I was in a cult. And I mean, I think you mentioned that conservatives don't get offended by speech as much, but conservatives get offended by pronouns. They got offended by Mr. Potato Head. They get offended by all kinds.
Mr. Potato Head, what? Why do you just say Mr. Potato Head? Am I missing something here?
Really stupid things.
Yeah, they get very triggered also. And for me, when I left the right, that was something I noticed because I started off as anti-SJW, triggered feminist stuff. And I'm like, the right is kind of becoming this way too a little bit with some things, very offended and triggered.
I would like to push back a little bit about conservatives being offended by pronouns. I think it's more so that they are being forced and to acquiesce to the pronouns of other people, which is, a form of, controlling speech.
Yeah.
Well, don't conservatives get really mad, when the whole pronouns in bio thing?
No,
They're oh, look, you have pronouns.
I get what both of you are saying, because my thing is, why would I ever care if you have pronouns in bio, but I will never call you by
I think
them.
it's more that people just view it as
Yeah, no, that's valid.
a tribal signifier. So in the same way that someone might view, oh, that person has a cross in their profile.
Yeah, I mean,
faith.
I've definitely, if I see pronouns in someone's bio, I'll roll my eyes. It doesn't mean that I, hate the person or not, but it is going to signify to me, in 95% of cases, I'm going to know exactly what
I know exactly who you are almost, so
are.
I'm just going to stay away
Or
from
you're
you.
going to
assume that you know a bunch because someone
But
has
why,
pronouns
though?
in their bio.
Because I'm not going to participate in your delusion, and my thing is you'll never meet a Republican that uses pronouns. It's just a fact. It's only
Everybody
the left.
uses pronouns. Just some people choose to announce
Okay, well, my
their
pronouns now for the rest of the time are pretty princess.
That's
and
not
if
a
you
pronoun.
What do you mean?
Those are not even pronouns.
Okay, so what are your
That's
zizes,
grammatic.
zen, zer, he, she?
Based.
Yeah, I think
Great.
that pronouns.
Pause. Sorry. I want to pull it back to cult.
Yes.
Okay?
Circling back to the cult idea, we kind of straight and went to pronouns, which I think is, again, it's a kind of a hot topic. The media really makes you believe that one side is more of a cult than the other. That's all subjective. Some of the people that are on my side, it's cultish, but it doesn't mean everyone is.
Well, let me give you an example, because I agree with you that the media is fomenting these right side, left side cults. 100% I agree with you.
Yeah.
So when I quote unquote left the left, it was because I had begun to question the policies that were surrounding the whole COVID situation. And
COVID,
I experienced.
COVID, I think, turned a lot of people more conservative. That whole ordeal. There's probably a ton of people who became more right wing from COVID. I personally know of a lot of people who that is the case for.
Experience cultishness on the left and the right for sure. But what I found was if there were people who were willing to listen to me, they were 95% of the time they were on the right about I think the government is trying to control us. I think that they're trying to force us to do XYZ things. I only found ears on the right except in maybe one or two cases. So for me, I was when the prompt is oh, the left is or your former side is a cult, that was very visceral to me. There was a section of the right that I could talk to, and they didn't feel like there was a section of the left.
Well, you can always talk to me about it sometime if you want.
I was gonna say,
I'd be
me
more
too.
than happy to talk to you
more
about the
than happy
COVID
to
stuff.
have
Thank you, my friend.
All right, so I'll tell you folks this. Unfortunately, a lot of people on the internet are not willing to sit through a video longer than 10 minutes, so I'm going to stop this right here. I'm going to break this up into parts, so if this video does well, let's set a like goal. I don't usually do this, but this is just for me to know that you guys like the video. If this video gets 100 likes, I will make a part 2 reacting to the same video, picking up from where we left off. It's just that when videos are longer on YouTube, people tend to see how long they are, not click them, or just click off halfway through. I guarantee you only 15 to 20% of the people who clicked on this video are still watching at this point, because shorts, Instagram Reels, TikTok videos are weakening people's attention spans. So if you're even watching this right now, shout out to you. Drop a like on the video if you want to see a part 2. God bless you guys. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But yeah, I do want to take another look at this video. I do want to pick up from where we left off. So let's get this video to 100 likes so I know that you guys actually enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.